Hello, this is Daydalian, but you could call me Day. Today I'm going to be drawing a realistic heart that I actually made a while ago, but I just want something to be in the background while I talk. Um, and I'm going to be talking about ambition. Also, my voice is pretty shot out because I was at the Deftones concert yesterday, and I don't feel super enthusiastic. So if there's any contrast between my voice now and in any later situation, I am not posing in any way. I'm just so tired. I also slept for like 5 hours, and I'm one of those people that need to sleep for a long time to feel anything. You will also occasionally hear my bird in the background because I just reheard the audio from the last clip, and she's singing sometimes, just giving the occasional whistle. I swear I'm a great owner, I check on her frequently. So, after I was trying to make a vlog. That's what this was originally gonna be. I have some videos of me leaving the gym, just walking home, etc., etc. But one, I'm partly lazy. Two, I did not take enough clips to make anywhere near a decent video. So that never happened, and I don't think it will. And it drives home the topic of today's conversation, which is ambition. And I feel like me as a person, I'm a pretty ambitious person, and I've met many people similarly, but one conundrum that seems to be shared by us semi ambitious people is that there's something or a feeling that gets in the way of being truly, completely ambitious and achieving those goals. So there's some things that can't be helped, that can't help us, really. Um, I really want to expand my platform, and I'm recording this right now as a clip to be on my YouTube, a video to be on my YouTube, because it's something that I would like. I always wanted a YouTube channel since I was a kid, and at different points I would mess with different things like stop motion and other forms of art, and I'd upload it. Never really got me anywhere though. But it's fun to do. So I've decided to finally chase that ambition now that I have a bit of free time in my life. So I guess this is kind of also like a story time, and I will have animations on this channel in the future. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm lazy and I'm working on one currently, but treat this as a story time, I guess. I had to drive about 2 hours to see the Deftones concert taking tolls, and I had wanted to see or at least witness a Deftones concert since like junior year of high school or sophomore year, um, because that's when I really got into them. It was amazing. I love Deftones. It's my favorite band. So it felt like a very spiritual moment to say. And fun little fact, I would listen to Deftones in the background of reading Berserk. So now Berserk, the manga, and all Deftones songs go hand in hand with each other in my mind. And I have like other Deftones songs that relate to other things, but those two just shake each other's hand in my brain. And when I went to the concert, I finally got to see it because they play in Spain or they'll play in Brazil, they'll play in so many different parts of the world, but they rarely play on the east coast of the US. If they ever play in the US, it's always on the west coast and sometimes occasionally Florida. They never ever come to the north side of the east coast. But they finally did. And so I took that opportunity and went to the Wells Fargo Stadium to watch the concert, and it was amazing. It I loved it, but there was a weird feeling that was tied into it, which is following the theme of this video. So that's why I'm bringing it up. Is that when I was listening to the music and first going through the songs and screaming it out of the top of my lungs and dancing, so to say, like bopping my head up and down, I didn't feel the way I had imagined I'd feel because I've been to a s like two other concerts before. And for example, for the 21 Pilots concert, there's a lot of I can explain the feeling for that was nostalgia and a little bit of sadness. That's what felt like it was tied into the songs for me personally. That's the feelings that I get when I listen because it reminds me of youth and childhood and relationships and things like that. But when I listen to Deftones, it's a very big switch from that. It's more of a I felt like I needed to do something with my life, which I'm 20. I feel like everyone who's 20 has that feeling where it's like I need to do something with my life. And their music, or at least that concert too, that definitely struck that feeling within myself. I felt like I was, and I've been feeling like I'm stuck. Also, I really hope like no one sees this. There's a part of me where it's just like, oh, I I'm ambitious, so I would like to be YouTube famous. But if anybody that I ever knew within my waking life ever listened to this, I'd I'd schmeckle the wall a little bit, if that makes sense. I know one person that knows this channel and will see it. If you're seeing it at this part, text me in real life, lol. And the emotions with the Deftones concert is like I had to do something. Going through their songs, some songs correlate with relationships, but I don't know why I had that feeling of I'm finally here. So when they first started, I didn't even feel like I wasn't screaming. It was almost like I was meant to be there. That's what I was like. I am supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be listening to this. I'm supposed to be witnessing this. When there's no obligation for them to be there. There could have been a million different things that went wrong for me not to be there, but I felt like I was supposed to, and I was enjoying it in the way as if I was privileged so that nothing was going to stop me and I was going to be there. And they continue. And I think a lot of the people around me, and especially with, uh, I guess, like society or the way that things are set up, everyone was in like a pair, everyone's with their friends. I went alone because something that I've learned in my life and through concerts is you can't wait for people. You have to just go and do something. And when you're somebody like me, I feel like since I am ambitious, I really want to do things. I want to be fulfilled. I am very young though, and there's that feeling of everything has to be instantly perfect right now or I'm a failure, especially when I compare myself to other people, which is an inevitable human trait. I think everybody at some point in their lives that compare themselves or somebody else to them. And there's a lot that I feel like I'm behind in, but then I'm told and shown how grateful I should be and how many nice things I have. And honestly, anybody even remotely watching a video like this or living in a first world country, not like living in a third world corrupt society or something like that, should be relatively grateful. The state of our economy isn't great, and the state of the United States isn't great, and the state of a lot of things aren't great, but we're not putridly instantly passing as the moments pass. We have a lot of nice things. I'm not trying to sound like a parent or somebody who's over entitled, but from my perspective, from my class and standing in society, I'd imagine that everybody who can access the internet, watch something, eat something occasionally, and happily use the bathroom should feel pretty privileged. Although that's not taking away the fact of being ambitious. You shouldn't feel guilty for wanting to have more. And that's something that I feel like many people do feel guilty about. Which is ironic because of all the things to feel guilty about, you should never feel guilty about benefiting yourself. And I say this from personal accounts, is there's a bit of guilt when it comes to I want more, especially those words. we don't use them. You don't tell someone I want more. You could say, "Oh, I want some water," or you'd politely ask someone, "Can I please have some water?" But we don't say it like that. I want more. I want more water. I want this. I want that. But because there's a little bit of entitlement to saying it like that, but I don't think that's always a bad thing or a bad case. I feel like wanting more, being ambitious is a trait that everybody should have and feel comfortable about. Ambition itself is the idea of something better than what you have. I describe it as that. I'm not looking at a dictionary or anything. That's just how I'm puzzling it in my brain. And to want more than what you already have, to want to achieve more, to want to do more, that's not a bad thing. Unless you're harming other people to get those things. I mean, if you're like a billionaire, then okay, that's pretty bad. You're doing a pretty bad thing. But if you're a normal person just trying to live your everyday life and you're afraid of wanting more from the society, from the life you live in, even if you're in a wealthier position, dare I say, if you're not making over a few million a year, it's not that bad to want more. I'd see how you'd. We all want to live like kings. We all want to live like gods. And there's a sense of guilt within wanting some of those things. Although there's some people who don't. I think those people lack a bit of empathy or whatever, but that's fine. I also have no clue if my phone's ringer can be heard through this, but if it is, who cares? Anyways, so tying back to the Deftones story, after being at the Deftones concert, really finally getting something that I've been waiting for, a paradox and something that I hate about ambition is when you finally do achieve the thing that you always wanted to achieve, if you're not careful about it, you won't be satisfied. And that's sadly a conundrum that I came to, or I fell into, is even being there, even witnessing the music, even enjoying the entire time, I felt as if I didn't have enough and that I didn't experience enough or that it wasn't enough. That's something that if I told myself 2 years ago, you're gonna go to the Deftones concert, it seems like a little thing, but it's really big to me. I would have been astounded. I've been like, finally, like, they don't play where I'm around, and I don't have the privilege to go to Spain or Brazil to listen to them, or even the West Coast. So being able to be like, oh my god, got to see my favorite artist, I got to truly enjoy it. You would think, or at least I would think in that moment, that I'd be satisfied. But even now, at the point that I'm at, I'm not because I want to see it again. I want to see them play everywhere. I want them to play in my backyard. I want to be so privileged to the point where they could play in my backyard or my living room. I can invite people at a party and we could just enjoy Deftones together. And I don't think it's a bad thing to want that, but balancing that acceptance of what you've received and ambition for wanting more than what you've received is so important, and it's something that I'm still learning, and I don't think many people have learned, and so they fall into the trap of being too ambitious and wanting too much to a point where they get stagnant and they don't receive anything, or being too accepting and staying at the same point. So now, what everybody has to do, and what I also feel like I must do, is now I have to find that beautiful middle ground where I accept the things that I have and I'm ambitious enough to chase the dreams that I want to achieve. And I have to tell myself that over and over again. I accept the things I have and I want to chase the things that I want to achieve. And if I could find that beautiful middle ground, I feel like life would be beyond worth living. It would be everything you receive would feel satisfactory, and everything that you go to achieve will feel complimentary. You wouldn't just live a day-to-day life. You'd live a changing, ever experiencing moments throughout your everyday life. Every moment would feel better, and everything that you achieve would feel like it's a trophy. And even just like saying it out loud now, this is like low key therapy for me. I'm giving myself therapy. It's also like a little side note, but it's like, when you talk to a therapist and then you come up with the answer. If you do go to therapy and your therapist goes, "Wow, it seems like you really know it," they're actually annoyed because they know that no matter what they say, you're just gonna think you have the answer, but you won't do anything about it, which ties back to my main point: being ambitious enough to chase the things you want, but being accepting enough to love the things that you have already received. That is probably, if you can master that, then I don't think you need therapy. Um, yeah, I think I just came up with a breakthrough for myself and the singular three people who are listening to this, which my ambition is to grow that, have more, but be accepting and appreciative of anyone who listens to anything I do or sees anything I see. Like, I've had a TikTok for a while, and I've been posting on it, and I am ambitious, so I would love to just have like 3 million people see one of my posts out of nowhere and just success. And especially with some of the things that I do from artistic standpoint, art takes like a lot of time. I guess this will help push this conversation maybe a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. I thought this was going to be like 11 minutes. I think it might be a little bit longer now. Something that does affect that fine balance of accepting what you already have and wanting to be ambitious enough to chase the things that you need is when you compare yourself to other people, like I said earlier. When you compare your life or what you've already achieved or the things you want to achieve to somebody else's achievements and what they want, that's going to ruin you, and that will ruin your perspective. And I'm saying that to me too. I'm not saying this from all high standpoint as if I've mastered all of these skills, but even me as a person as a whole, and anybody that I meet, this would definitely be useful. If I look at somebody else and they have 4 million views on a TikTok post, and I spend like 2 days, for example, drawing what I'm drawing right now, a heart, and I post it and I get like 400 people. I mean, I was, and I still am, appreciative and ecstatic of seeing all of that achievement, all of, even the idea that anybody likes what I've made. I think the post got like 77 likes. That made me happy. That fuels a little empty desire in my heart. And so that does help me push my ambition forward to wanting to achieve more, but then that desire for more than what I already have. And now I'm just throwing in another word, which is still basically the same thing. But that desire for having something that someone else has. Now a little bit of greed and envy is tied in, and that malignant feeling is going to keep me stuck in the same spot that I was already in before I came to the conclusion that I needed to master accepting what I already have and being ambitious enough to chase and achieve the things that I want to have. So, I mean, when I come up with an answer for all three of these things, not having any malice or malignant feelings from other people's ambitions and comparisons that will affect what you've already gained, thus destroying the. So, if you could picture this in three parts, you could picture acquiring what you've already have as achievements, which is the past, the present being, or and that could also be acceptance. So, acceptance of what you already have too, and then the second part you could picture is ambition and trying to get the things that you want, that you desire, that you need. And then if you have that middle ground of malice and comparison in the middle of both of those two circles. So if you mention two circles, the acceptance and the desire, whatever, ambition, and you put a line in between both of those. Now, you didn't only separate that balance, you didn't only mess that up for yourself. It ruins everything that you've ever had before, And now you get stuck in that sludge again, that bad feeling of that bad feeling of wanting and yearning and being stuck in the same place, not being able to leave your bed in the morning, and not being able to do the things you want to do to better yourself, to have a more fulfilling life, and just enjoy the things that you already have. And that'll kill you. That'll ruin your life. That'll make you sad and empty, and you're gonna have a 9 to 5, and you're gonna die, and that's what your whole life is gonna be. That's gonna be the whole cycle. That's it. It's over. So, I mean, I'm gonna end this because I think this has gone on for a little bit too long. I think I'm reaching like 20 minutes. So, I hope that this enlightened anybody, that anybody was able to appreciate this. And even if not, I have enlightened myself. I've shown myself something that I just needed to explain out loud, and this was the platform that I got to do that rather than keeping it inside. And thank you for listening and coming on this small little testament and journey with me. I hope everybody has a lovely day. To those who hear this and to those who don't, be safe and have a happy life.